Welcome to the Bravo Charlie Club podcast, making you 12 and a half minutes more awesome each week. He's Ben. I'm Richard. Let's go. Ben, how are you this week?
Mate, amazing.
Amazing. Awesome.
Yeah. Look, I'm well and truly down the path of recovery, and I've been watching a bucket load of streaming television. So I finished Netflix.
Yep.
I finished Netflix.
Everything.
Yeah, it's done.
Yep.
And almost through Prime as well. And it had me thinking, like, if you had said to me, which is the biggest streaming service in the world? It has to be Netflix or Prime, doesn't it? Am I missing something there? It's one of those.
I think it's YouTube. I think in terms of minutes watched, YouTube's taken the crown. Not long ago, I think. Yeah.
So how does that work? Like YouTube's like, isn't that's not even, they don't put like,
that's not even a TV station.
Seinfeld on there. Like,
no, they might
what's
do,
on YouTube?
Maybe it's illegal. I think the great thing about YouTube, I'm well down the YouTube rabbit hole. And
let's get into it, because I don't know anything about this.
I love it. The user-generated content is just excellent. I think the quality of technology, cameras, microphones, that sort of thing, recording in 4K, the quality of the image is nice and sharp, and you can just get right down into the really interesting niche stuff that you just can't get from stations, the Netflix and the
So you're
Prime
saying Netflix will never have like a woodworking channel?
I don't think it will. Yeah, shout out to Scott Brown Carpentry in New Zealand. I love his work. And he's just, recording himself on the job. He's just, making kitchens and all sorts of stuff.
No, you're right. It's interesting because I've always used YouTube as like, if the kitchen sink's blocked, or if there's a light in my car which I need to work out how to turn on, I've gone to YouTube for that. But you're saying it's just like, everyone's there. There's no real gatekeeper too on YouTube, right?
I think that's the thing, right? Anyone can put things up there, and you can find your niche. You can find your tribe. Global Cycling Network. I really love that one as well because I'm a cyclist.
Do you have Netflix? Like, do you use the traditional streaming services, as they say?
Yeah.
You go to Blockbuster. You probably go to Blockbuster still. Is it?
If only I could. So my sort of strategy there is we have Netflix as a sort of for the base load because kids, and then switch around between Disney, Prime, Stan, other sorts of ones, just for a couple of months a year, and then watch all the shows, the new shows that have come in, and then sort of can it and move on to the next. I think back in the day when Netflix was your only option, they used to have all the content, right? And you could just go to Netflix and you could get it.
They had Marvel and stuff, but I think didn't Disney buy that or something?
But then Disney sort of had Disney Plus. That's another one in the rotation as well. So that Disney stuff stopped being on Netflix. They've become the gatekeeper for their content now. But it doesn't change. It's always there. Like, you've kind of got more incentive to leave because it's always going to be there when you go back. Whereas, at Netflix, when it was kind of there and it was only there for 3 months or something, you kind of like watched, you wanted to watch it quick.
My girls introduced me to a service where you can work out which streaming service. I think they use Flix or Compare TV or something, but you go on it and you can actually work out which streaming service has got the show that you want to watch. We'll regularly just take it for a month and then cancel it and then switch to the next one because the shows that we want to watch have moved or whatever. So sounds like we've got a fairly similar strategy in that regard.
We got binge for a while. We got all into a sort of a treasure hunting program called Oak Island.
Nice.
And it was just on the History Channel, but like binge was the only place to get it. So we're all in. Watch all the episodes. Yeah.
Well, for anyone interested, I've just finished watching Day of the Jackal with Eddie Redmayne. It's one of the best TV series I've seen.
Nice.
Really enjoyed that. Not too much bloodshed, no swearing, so it's fairly user friendly. But yeah, worth a look. Hey, speaking of Eddie Redmayne and Day of the Jackal, one of the countries he went through was France. in his escapades. Brings me on to travel tip of the week, and I want to talk about France, in particular the metro in Paris, because I think one of the biggest scams in the world is the metro in Paris and the daily pass they make us foreigners buy. If anyone's heading to Paris and you've got an Apple phone, in fact, it'll probably work on the Samsung or Android versions. I just don't know because I don't have one, but there's it's called a Navigo card in the Apple Wallet. So you literally go into your Apple Wallet, you press plus, add a card, and there's a transit card section. Download the Navigo card because it costs €2 to take a trip on a metro. The average daily pass is like €8 or €9. So you're 3 or 4 trips to get the value of a single trip. And the average person goes into Paris, goes to the Eiffel Tower, goes to the Champs-Elysees and goes home. So I would argue you're going to be in front using single trips rather than buying that daily ticket, which I'm sure is just the biggest joke in France.
Well, good, solid pro tip. I've actually done that loop. I think I was the mug that actually had the.
I remember seeing your picture on the metro wall actually as we went through. So we got this guy. Don't be Richard.
Yeah.
Hey, listener feedback. We're so lucky that guys write in, but one guy's actually given us a little bit of an uppercut. He's like, "Get back to your roots." He said, "The first episode you touched on AI and I want more of that." So kind of got me asking, Richard, what's vibing in AI? This is definitely not a question for me. Is there a prompt of the week or something you can share that sort of...
What's vibing in AI? Yeah. So much big stuff happened this week in AI, actually. The new ChatGPT 5 came out. But I guess rather than sort of like prompt of the week, maybe something a bit more interesting is to how to craft a good prompt and the sort of components of a prompt. So
we discussed that in the first episode, that your prompt engineering was actually a really important part of your use of AI. So that you're gonna give us the gold. Everyone, get your pens out.
Well, I think the thing is with AI, the more context you can give it, or the quicker you can give it context, the more precise and perhaps maybe the more useful the answer you're going to get out of AI is, and so giving it context, like, you are a person doing this job, and here's what I need from the person that's doing this job. Here is the role, and here's what I'm trying to uncover. Give me 3 options around a certain topic or response, and drill into some of those with more details. I think also too, get it to find the holes in your answer as well. So don't just kind of like leave it unchallenged and just accept what it comes back with. Kind of push up against it a little for some rigor, and asking it to cite sources too. You want to try and ensure that there's the hallucination factor there can sort of be mitigated.
So I got to ask, the first direction you gave was to tell the AI to take on a certain persona.
Yeah. Yep.
So you imagine
you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company or something. Right. Outline the strategy for how we're going to beat competitor X in the market.
You're a nasty history teacher. You're
come up with the worst possible assignment for my grade 8 students. Yes.
You're a whimsical musician. Oh, okay. So it can do that. Is that like? I
think so.
I'm a novice.
I think those kinds of things. I think those kinds of things help it kind of focus in on, I guess, the sort of the tone and the right level of the reply. So I've had good success with that.
So when I'm giving context, I've established a persona. Can I waffle? Like, am I allowed to just shoot from the hip and say, "This is, imagine yourself in this scenario, and these are the outcomes that I'm trying to achieve"? And can you cite the sources that help me deliver that? Like, do you write as much as you can, or is brevity important?
I do it bullet point form. So I just kind of like type it in, sort of like one thing per line, and I think it's helpful if you have an idea of what you're expecting. If anything comes back that kind of seems unusual or unexpected, drill into it, get more information, and always ask it for sources.
So there you go. Here's my 2 takeaways were: give the AI a persona and ask follow-up questions. So that's interesting. Hey, conundrum of the week, mate. Pretty simple. I was flossing my teeth the other day, and I noticed that dental floss has an expiry date.
Well, first of all, good work on flossing your teeth.
Yeah. But
I do it once a year or twice a year, just the day before I have to visit the dentist.
Yeah, true. Yeah, fair. My dentist visit is coming up. But what's that all about?
Expiry date on dental floss. I don't know.
Have you ever used expired dental floss and gone, oh, that doesn't taste right?
I don't know. Have I? I could have. I mean, I don't know. I didn't even know it had one. It wasn't really a thing I was checking for. Yeah, mind blowing.
I mean, you ever watch those shows Alone or Survivor or whatever it is, and they can take 10 items with them? I reckon dental floss should be one of the things they take. Like, it's the strongest thing on the planet.
Instead of paracord, your dental floss.
Yeah,
they can make fishing nets out
overrated.
of
it. Yeah. I guess by extension,
Possum traps, the whole thing.
I guess my question by extension is, why does food even have use by dates? I think that's a legalese that we've been pushed into. Like, everyone knows for sure that yogurt's at least 14 days past its. We're not idiots. You can look at it and work it out. The truth bomb for me is guys don't even take. They just give it a sniff and pour the milk into their coffee.
Pretty much.
So what's the point? Like, if we're better than what's printed on the labels, is my take. Hey mate,
I'm with you.
That's it. We've BCC'd our listeners on our week, and if you're able, dear listener, to leave a review or send us a text or join us in the inner sanctum, we'd love to have you. Next week's show, we ask the true conundrum: gift giving. What things are too personal to buy for someone else? See you next week. Bravo, Charlie Club, out.
And that's the pod.